Good evening, ham radio operators. The time is 8 p.m. Central. This is KI5PZN. That's Kilo India 5, Papa Zulu November. My name is Ernesto. I'll be your net controller for tonight's net. Well, you are listening, I forgot to mention that, to the Okio Amateur Radio Club. This Thursday night net. We're here every Thursday night on the Okio Amateur Radio Club frequencies and the University Link Repeater system. We will not have any scheduled pauses for emergency traffic, but we will yield the air to any break-in emergency and will lend a hand if possible. With that in mind, please leave room between check-ins and transmissions to allow for any emergency traffic. I'm transmitting tonight from East Austin. I'm using the 147.320 repeater. You can also reach us via Echolink by connecting to KA5D-R or K5TMT. For All-Star access, use node 51444. For more information regarding the club's repeater system, and how to become a member, please visit n5oak.org. You can also participate in this net using the University Link Repeater system. For more information about the University Link Repeater system, please visit ka5d.com. If you're listening through the Okio Amateur Radio Club repeater system and you want to participate, be sure your tone is set to 114.8. For the University Link Repeater system, set your tone to 97.4. For club members, we have our own Thursday night net channel on Discord, so swing by and say hi to the folks hanging out there during the net. If you're not a member, what are you waiting for? It's free to join this club, so run to n5oak.org and sign up to become a member and join our Discord group. We have members standing by ready to approve your account. We have them working in shift. My name is Ernesto, KI5PZN, that's Papa Zulu November, and I'll be your net controller for this evening. This is a control net, meaning station should refrain from transmitting until designated check-ins or coming time. If you're having an emergency while the net is going, just say break, and we will pause the net, and we'll try to help as much as we can. If you're a new ham, or just new to the net, the Okio Amateur Radio Club Thursday night net, it's a social net. We get together every week to share knowledge, ask questions, and just to hang out. It's super easy to check into this net. In just a little bit, I'm going to ask for check-ins, and I'll take down a list of all of you that wish to say hi. Once we have everyone checked in, I'll go down the list one at a time, and we'll give you the floor. Feel free to ask questions pertaining to ham radio or any other interesting family-friendly subject. Tell us about something you've been working on. If you don't have a juicy story, I guess you don't need a juicy story to call in. You can just call to say hi. We just want to hear from you. And remember, there's no net without check-ins. And man, we have a hamtastic net for you tonight. We're going to be doing short-time check-ins, and for those of you who need to get going, and then we're going to be doing the general question where we review a question or two for the general license exam. And then after that, we do ham news. We'll have the ham news section, and then we'll do fox hunting news. And then after that, we'll do the club announcements and trivia net updates from El Presidente. And then after that, we'll move on to regular check-ins. If you missed the first round of check-ins, don't worry. We'll grab you on the next round. Please avoid topics of politics, religion, or anything else potentially inflammatory. This net should be anti-inflammatory. Please keep it clean, nice, and appropriate. This net is family-friendly. But it's time for a station ID and the opening of the net for check-in, so please stand by. You're listening to the Okio Amateur Radio Club Thursday night net. brought to you by the Okio Amateur Radio Club, call sign M5OAK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central with a different net controller every week to keep it fun and interesante. My name is Ernesto, KI5PZN, that's Papa Zulu November, and I am your net controller for tonight's net. It is time for short time check-ins. Short time check-ins means operator who cannot stay for the entire net. I will not open the floor for comments or questions for the short timers. That way you can call in, you say hi, I say hi, and you can go on and do your thing. Now, if you check in as a short timer and later you want to rejoin the net because the net is beyond awesome, please feel free to recheck. Rechecks are always welcome. If you're a brand new ham radio operator, just got your license or just haven't been on the air a whole lot, I have a couple of tips for you. Before you get talk to talk, when you press the PTT button, just count like 1 or 2 seconds before you start talking, just in case. Sometimes if you press the button and start talking at the same time, the beginning of your conversation might not be heard, so just press, count, 1 or 2, and then start talking. And also, let me reset. When you're calling in to check in, it's really good if you go ahead and key in, press the PTT button, say this is, and then you on key and here listen to see if somebody else is talking, and that way you will avoid doubling. I mean, we will always double, but we'll try to have less of that. So always this is, you on key, listen to see if somebody else is talking, and then you do your thing. I keep a log for this net the old-fashioned way. I have a piece of paper and a pen. I went up from the quill and the scroll, so getting more modern. All right, so I'm keeping it on paper, piece of paper and a pen. So just go a little bit slower on the call time when you're calling in, because I'm old and confused. So if you're busy or busy-ish tonight and still want to check in, well, I'm looking for short time check-ins. Come in with your call sign and name slowly.
This is Kilo 5 Tango Mike Tango, Matt and Leander.
This is Kilo India 6 Hotel Quebec Tango, Canton, South Austin, no traffic.
This is Kilo India 5 Sierra Tango Tango, Dave and Buda, no traffic.
Anybody else would like to check in for a short time? All right. We're going to have a long regular check-in session tonight. All right, well, let's go and check with Matt, K5TMT. Matt, what's going on, man? How is your week going?
Hey, Ernesto and everyone on the net. The week's going by a little bit better now. I took the week off to celebrate my birthday and replace a water heater and paint the house. Unfortunately, last Thursday I started getting a sinus infection, so I was down for about 4 days with that and a pretty bad fever. So getting over that, finishing up painting this weekend, everything else pretty much done. I can't wait to see how it turns out.
Well, man, happy belated birthday. Didn't know that was your birthday, so happy birthday, my friend. I'm glad you were able to take the week off. That's always a good thing, even though you were sick. That part, I'm really sorry to hear that. That totally sucks, having that sinus infection. And yeah, those are never fun, and at least when I get those, they tend to migrate to my chest, and I end up with a cough from hell, so hopefully you won't be doing any of that. But Were you like fixing and painting the house and putting the water heater while also sick? Back to you.
I was, as much as I was able until about Tuesday when I started feeling better. Then I was outside all day painting. It was kind of a time crunch with some family that came in from out of town to help out with the housework and to celebrate. So it was the weather was really nice outside of the wind. That just kind of made it worse. But I'm starting to get my voice back, but I still got a pretty bad cough.
Well, man, that's pretty impressive that you got to do all that while not feeling 100%. But I get it on taking advantage of family, of the situation. If they're here, yeah, I totally see why you would push to get that out of the way. Because it makes it a lot easier when you have people helping out. But awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that things are getting better. You have the antennas all sorted out and back to normal. Back to you.
The antennas are back up and running, but I need to restring some of the coax that had to come down for the paint under the eaves. So that's going to take about, I don't know, an entire morning probably. So hopefully I'll finish painting tomorrow and get everything patched up with the coax on the weekend.
Well, awesome, man. I hope that those things get sorted out soon, and you get rid of that cough soon. That's the most annoying part of going through a cold or any of those things, the cough that lingers. But yeah, I mean, I guess for talking on the radio, it could be I guess an annoyance if you get if you're in the middle of QSO and get a cough attack there. But I guess doing the net is pretty cool because we only talk for a little bit, but. Well, that's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that things are going better and that things are also being taken care of because I know you had a long list of things to do around the house. So I'm happy to hear that things are almost on the other side. And, well, hopefully after you get all this sorted out, and by then hopefully your cough and everything will be out of the way and you get some time to have some fun, man. Do you have anything else for the net before I let you go, man?
That's about all I got. I'll put a couple pictures on the Discord in the Thursday Night Net channel. Some of the house progress. But yeah, that's about all I got. K5TMT.
All right, man. I appreciate you checking into tonight's net. And yeah, man, put some pictures over there because we're curious creatures. Well, awesome, man. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks again for calling in. Then after Matt, we had Ken, KI6HQT with no traffic. Ken, thank you so much for calling in tonight. I hope you're doing all right, man. And then after Ken, we had Dave from Buda, KI5STT with no traffic as well. Thank you for calling and checking into tonight's net. I hope you're doing well as well, Dave. And let's see, let me do another round of short-time check-ins just in case that there were some people waiting to do a short-time check-in. If you would like to do a short-time check-in, please call in with your name and call sign.
This is Kilo India 5 Foxtrot Tango Yankee Lou in Northwest Austin.
This is 55 Whiskey Tango Hotel, Pat, Austin, Echolink.
This is W0TCO, Andrew, Denver, Colorado. Short time, no traffic.
This is
Micah AG5SJ, no traffic.
Mike, I missed your call sign there. Would you mind coming back with your call sign?
Yeah, no worries, sorry. AG5SJ, Alpha Golf 5, Sierra Juliet.
Thank you. Let's check with Lou, KI5FTY. Lou, what's going on, man? How is the week treating you?
Oh, pretty good. This is KI5FTY. Just got Greenland in the books on FT8 about an hour ago, so that made my day today. Just getting my shack in order and trying to consolidate some of my computer systems and redo all of that good stuff in the shack. So other than that, that's what's keeping me preoccupied. KI5FTY, back to net.
Well, awesome, man. That's pretty neat. Greenland. I haven't made any contact with those guys up there yet, but that's pretty neat. I'm glad that you were able to get that one. And then the shack, getting the shack in order. It seems like it's a never-ending process. At least it is for me. It's funny because when I was a kid, I used to give my mom a hard time because she would always be moving the furniture around. And now I find myself that I'm doing the same thing with the ham stuff, always moving stuff around, and there's always a new configuration and things to get rid of. And I haven't been a ham for that long, and it's kind of funny. I can't even imagine you guys have been doing this for a long, long time and have accumulated so much stuff. So that's pretty neat, man. You've been playing with HF, any chance? Back to you.
Yeah, KI5FTY. Yeah, mostly HF. I live in a bowl. It's kind of a canyon, so VHF is really a challenge. So HF, mostly FT8, some voice, some sideband. But other than that, just mostly FT8. Back to net.
Well, awesome, man. Yeah, that's FT8 is on my list of things to get set up here, but I just haven't gotten around. I guess I should get a little computer dedicated for here and try it. I know it's a lot of fun, and you get to reach places that when the conditions are not that great for voice, you can still make those contacts. That's pretty neat. And yeah, man, that's awesome. Well, do you have anything else for the net before I let you go, Lou?
Nothing else. Just everyone have a great night. KI5FTY, back to net.
All right, man. Well, appreciate you calling in. Thank you for checking in. Pleasure talking to you, and we will be talking to you soon. Well, let me do a quick ID, and then we'll go down and talk to Pat. Well, you're listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, brought to you by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, call sign N5OAK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. My name is Ernesto, KI5PZN, and I'm your net controller for tonight's net. We're going to go now and check with Pat, W5WTH, and for those of you who don't know Pat runs a CW net right before this one. The CW net starts at 7:30. And you'll find those guys at 3.532 megahertz, 3.532 megahertz at 7:30, and you don't have to be an expert on CW to participate. So let's go and talk to Pat, W5WTH. Pat, what's going on, man? How is the week treating you?
Yeah, Ernesto, thanks, and thanks for running the net. We're treating me pretty well. I'm recovering from the ice storm. I quite literally lost probably 100 trees. So it's been all lumberjacking all the time, trying to get brush and trees cut down and onto the curb for the pickup that they're going to have. So I've been probably putting 4 to 6 hours a day in the yard, and I maybe have a third of that done. So got a lot more stuff to do. That's okay. It's good exercise. And that's about it over here. Back to net.
Oh man, that's I know that seems to be a recurrent thing. But I tell you what, you can look at it from a different perspective. You're getting free firewood if you need it, and free workout. So it could always be worse. Did you have any issues with your antennas, or was it just the trees that gave up? Back to you, Pat.
Yeah, Echolink dropped out on me. Yeah, I don't need the free firewood. But I tell you what, I have tons on the street. Free firewood is pretty easy to get right now. Basically, all you have to do is drive around and take your pick of what you want.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. The people that are in the business of selling firewood, they're going to take a huge hit right now because they're competing with Mother Nature, and Mother Nature is giving away for free. So, well, I mean, you have to get some work done, but that seems to be the thing. If you want firewood, all you got to do is just drive around or drive to Pat's house and pick up the firewood. Well, man, I'm glad that, things are kind of okay. Sorry that you only got like a third of that done, but a third is better than, nothing. So you'll get there, my friend. And again, just, look at it as what do you call that? The CrossFit. There's some type of CrossFit. Hey, Pat, do you have anything else for the net before I let you go, my friend?
No, that's it. And, speaking of the bright side, you bring up a good point, Ernesto, is that, what, nobody got hurt. No trees landed on any persons or any property or equipment or anything like that. And, we probably need to thin this place out a little bit because of fire hazards and everything. So in the end, it's going to be all okay. Thanks for running the net. W5WTH, back to net.
Well, awesome, man. Glad that you are okay. Everybody's all right. And I'll try to be on the CWNet next week. I still have the same issues with the antenna. I haven't been able to sort that out because work is out of whack, thank goodness. But yeah, man, thanks again for running the CWNet and for checking into tonight's net. Always a pleasure talking to you, man. All right, that was Pat, and now we are going to go with, Andrew, W0TCO, with no traffic. Thank you, Andrew, for checking in. And AG5SJ, Micah, with no traffic as well. Thank you for checking in to tonight's net. All right, well, I guess we got the short time check-ins already taken care of. But before we go to the regular check-in, I guess we are going to review a question or two from the ARL current general exam. If you have a technician license, this will give you a sample of what the test is about. If you already passed your general exam, it's always a good thing to review the material. And we're going to pass the mic to Andrew up in Denver, Colorado. W0TCO is going to be doing the questions tonight. Andrew, the mic is yours.
Thanks, Ernesto. Tonight's questions are pulled from the General Class 2019 through 2023 question pool. Start off by reading a question here, and then I'll let anyone with a technician level license get their answer in first. And then I will open up the floor to anyone with a general or above license. So the question is, what is the maximum height above ground to which an antenna structure may be erected without requiring notification to the FAA and registration with the FCC, provided it is not near a public use airport? Is it A, 50 feet, B, 100 feet, C, 200 feet, or D, 300 feet? I'll read the question one more time. What is the maximum height above ground to which a structure may be erected without requiring notification to the FAA and registration with the FCC, provided it is not at or near a public use airport? I'll open the floor up to anyone with a technician license now. Come with your name and call.
Kent, KI5RBT. I said C.
All right, Kent. We got you for Charlie, 200 feet. Anyone else with a technician license? Name and call sign now, please. Right, heard, so let's open the floor up to anyone with a valid ham radio license. Come with your name and call sign, please.
KI5KAT, Charlie.
All right, we got another vote for Charlie. And now?
K5BZI, the answer is Charlie.
All right, another answer for Charlie. Anyone else?
MWA, and the answer is Charlie.
All right, you all seem pretty confident. Anyone else? Name and call sign, please. All right, nothing heard. The correct answer is indeed C, Charlie, 200 feet. Got one more question here. It comes from G4A, question number 2. What is one advantage of selecting the opposite or reverse sideband when receiving CW signals on a typical HF receiver? Is it A, interference from impulse noise let me read that again. A, interference from impulse noise will be eliminated. Is it B, more stations can be accommodated within a given signal passband? C, be possible to reduce or eliminate interference from other signals? Or D, accidental out-of-band operation can be prevented? I'll read the question one more time. What is one advantage of selecting the opposite or reverse side when receiving CW signals on a typical HF receiver? A, interference from impulse noise will be eliminated. B, more stations can be accommodated within a given signal passband. C, it is possible to reduce or eliminate interference from other signals. Or D, accidental out-of-band operation can be prevented. I'll open up the floor to anyone with a technician level license now. Come with your name and call sign, please. All right, nothing heard. Let's open it up to anyone with a ham radio license. Come with their name and call sign, please.
This is November 5 Lima X-ray. Oh, I was going to say C,
Go ahead.
Charlie. I was going to say C, Charlie.
All right, we got one vote for Charlie. Anyone else? The name and call sign, please.
K5BZI, I'll take C as in concur, Charlie.
All right, Ray, we got you down for Charlie. Anyone else? Name and call sign, please. All right, nothing heard. The correct answer is C, Charlie. It may be possible to reduce or eliminate interference from signals by using the opposite or reverse sideband when receiving CW signals. So that's it for the questions tonight. WTCO, back to net control.
Well, awesome, Andrew. Thank you for doing the questions. Those were really good questions, and you did an excellent job. And just a reminder for those of you guys who want to upgrade your license, or if you know someone who is interested in getting a license, the club is going to be offering in-person testing, and the first one is going to be on April the 22nd. That's a Saturday, and you'll be right after the quarterly meeting. So put it on your calendar. It's the 22nd of April if you want to either get licensed or upgrade your current license. All right, let's see. What's next here? Oh, I need to do an ID. You're listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, brought to you by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, @ N5OAK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. My name is Ernesto, KI5PZN, Papa Zulu November, and I'm your net controller for tonight's net. We're going to pass the mic now to Sky and 5LX for tonight's news. Sky, the mic is yours.
Thanks, Ernesto. This story is kind of long, but I thought it might be entertaining. I thought it was kind of interesting. This is N5LX, and the first news story is Hobby Club's missing balloon feared shot down by USAF. Reset. A small globe-trotting balloon declared missing in action by an Illinois-based hobbyist club on February 15th has emerged as a candidate to explain one of the 3 mystery objects that have been shot down with heat-seeking missiles launched by U.S. Air Force fighters since February 10th. The club, Northern Illinois Bottle Cap Balloon Brigade, is not pointing fingers yet, but the circumstantial evidence is intriguing. Reset. The club's silver-coated party-style Pico balloon reported its last position on February 10th at 38,900 feet off the west coast of Alaska, and a popular forecasting tool, the High Split model provided by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, projected the cylindrically shaped object would be floating high over the central part of Yukon Territory on February 11th. The same day, a Lockheed Martin F-22 shot down an unidentified object of a similar description, altitude, and in the same general area. Reset. Aviation Week, for all those who aren't familiar, some people call it Aviation Leak because they report on military aviation. It's a magazine. Aviation Week contacted a host of government agencies, including the FBI, the NSC, NORAD, and the Office of the Secretary of Defense, to comment about the possibility of these Pico balloons having been mistakenly targeted. The NSC did not respond, and the FBI and OSD refused to comment on the harmless Pico balloons being considered as possible identities for the mystery objects shot down by the Air Force. Reset. Launching high-altitude circumnavigational Pico balloons as a hobby has emerged only within the past decade. The balloons can reach altitudes of up to about 43,000 feet and typically carry an 11-gram tracker on a tether along with HF, VHF, and UHF transmitters to update their positions to ham radio operators around the world. At any given moment, several dozen such balloons are aloft, with some circling the globe several times before they become inoperative. The launch teams seldom recover their balloons. For various reasons, it says they fail. Reset. The Pico ballooning community is actually nervous about the negative attention by some members of Congress and even the White House, who have called the objects shot down at altitudes from 20,000 to 40,000 feet dangerous to civil aviation. when in fact, the Pico balloons weigh less than 6 pounds and are therefore exempt from nearly all FAA airspace restrictions. Recent. 3 countries, North Korea, Yemen, and the UK, restrict transmissions from balloons in their airspace, so the community has integrated geofencing software into their tracking devices. The hobby balloons still overfly those countries, but do not transmit their positions over their airspaces. So we'll be keeping our eyes on the news to see what develops, but I kind of doubt the government's going to admit anything like that. Okay, I've got one more story. Hope it's not too long. Oh, here it is. An expansion on solar cycle prediction. Solar cycle 25 officially began as of December 2019 and was given a forecasted maximum sunspot number of 115, predicted to take place around 2025 as stated by the NOAA. As the months passed, sunspot numbers quickly began to exceed the forecast for any given month in the middle of 2020, which then accelerated further in the beginning of 2021. As of March 2021, the sunspot number was regularly well above the forecasted amount, leading to a smooth average over double what was predicted, Reset. On January 2023, the NOAA had a forecasted average of about 64, whereas the actual measured value landed above at 143.6. As a comparison, this number is slightly higher than the first monthly average peak in solar cycle 24 and just barely under the second peak. Most impressively in the numbers for January is the second index that is observed during the solar cycle, the solar flux index, also denoted as the F10.7. Reset. The solar flux index is a number that looks at how much light the sun emits specifically at a wavelength of 10.7 centimeters, which translates into a radio frequency of 2800 megahertz just within the SHF band. This index generally increases and decreases with sunspot number, but also increases as sunspot complexity increases, which leads to higher numbers during sunspot maximum. When January numbers were posted, the average solar flux index came to about 182, with several individual days above 200. These numbers are considerably higher than those seen during solar cycle 24 and show a very sharp deviation from the averaged numbers of solar cycle 25 thus far, our current solar cycle. This number can be attributed to the numerous amounts of sunspot regions present during January that also showed moderate to high-level complexity in their forms. Reset. It's clear the forecast set by the NOAA back in 2019 will likely fall significantly short of the actual cycle strength we are about to see during the coming solar maximum. And that's it for the ham news.
All right. Well, thank you, Sky, for reading those news. I guess the government is really jumping out with balloons, so that was pretty interesting. I know, and I always wondered about those balloons because I figured that, obviously I don't know anything about about airplanes or how those things work, but I was wondering if that would be an issue for airplanes because, those balloons, I guess they set them up to be a certain altitude, but I don't know, what if the wind, pushed them down or whatever, and imagine being a pilot and seeing something like that coming at you. Not fun, but, well, awesome, man. Thanks again for reading those news. Does anybody have any questions or comment for tonight's news?
K5BZI.
Go ahead, Uncle Ray.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed that first report of those four guys' little project. The government's going to shut that thing down immediately. But it does not surprise me that is part of what they shut down. At least they can have the bragging rights of saying that one of their experimental balloons was shot down by a Air Force heat-seeking missile. That's pretty cool. K5BZI back there.
I don't know, we need to get our own balloon up there and be on the news too. Anybody else have any questions or comment for tonight's news? Come in with your name and call sign.
KC3, NAG.
Mr. Randy, go ahead.
Yeah, very interesting because, like, my thoughts were there, like, kind of to begin with. Like, there's a lot of balloons up there that people don't even know nothing about. But did it say there was the radio club? Did they say that one of their balloons was actually shot down?
N5LX. They didn't mention it in the article, so I really don't know.
Well, okay, as you're reading the article, it said that, like, at a certain point they knew that their balloon was at a certain point or whatever. But, yeah, I don't know. I have to, like, maybe pull that back up and see. But it wouldn't surprise me having the transmission gear they have on there, that there wouldn't be, like, some little transponder that would alert any of the, aircraft, running through there. I mean, that would only make sense as a courtesy to be allowed by the FCC and the FAA to do what you're doing. So, very interesting story, and that's probably why it'll be a long time before we ever hear the truth. KC3, NAG, back to net control.
Yeah, interesting, but I know. To me, those balloons, you will think that they will have some sort of beacon that is on that frequency where the government can hear that it's just nerds having a good time, but don't shoot us, we're just nerds. That's not how it works. Well, awesome, Ben. Thanks for your comment. Anybody else before we move on?
KI5F2Y.
Go right ahead, Lou.
Just a little tidbit. That particular balloon, I believe they shot twice. They missed the first time and had to take it out with a second missile. Each one of those missiles cost $418,000. So almost $1 million to take out a $100 balloon.
Oh man, that is golden. That is golden. Man, that's your tax dollars. Well, I shouldn't go there. That's really interesting. Well, we should harass Rusty to see if the club should put one together and and see what happened. Well, that was a really interesting news, and thank you guys for your comments. All right, well let's move now to Fox News. And we're going to pass the mic again to Sky N5LX for the Fox News for this week. Sky, the mic is yours.
Hey man, N5LX. It's Fox Hunt News, right? Anyway, for this week's Fox Hunt News, I hosted the Hidden Transmitter Hunt that began on Saturday at 1 p.m. and it ended on 5 p.m. Tuesday. We had people out there on Sunday, I think, and Monday, I'm not sure. But anyway, the skill level, I'd intended it to be really easy, but it didn't turn out that way because of the terrain. It was in a riverbed, and I should have known that it would be a little harder. But then I had some battery issues. And so it was more difficult for some people than others, depending on the condition of the battery. But I replaced the battery, and everyone who participated found it and left their mark in the logbook. And here's a list of our expert fox hunters for this last week. Aaron, AI5HP, Matthew, KI5VND, reset. Rusty, WZ5BBS, Ernesto and Enrique, KI5PZN, Jeremy, K5NCO, Jeffrey and Ashley, KI5MVF, Rick, AI5JT, and John and Diane, KE5RS. And if I got any of that wrong, just let me know. Reset. Anyway, for anyone who's listening and hasn't already participated in one of these fox hunts, you can go to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club website, n5oak.org, and then there's a Fox Hunt tab, and if you click on there, you can check out the calendar for upcoming hunts. I don't think there's one scheduled for this weekend, but we do have them frequently, and kind of depending on the weather, I suspect as it gets warmer, we'll have them more frequently. But anyway, that's it for this week's fox hunt.
All right, Sky, thank you again for helping us tonight with the news and the fox hunt news as well, and for hosting the Fox last weekend. And for those of you guys listening who haven't done fox hunting, you don't need special gear to do this. If you have an HT and a Mac mount, you can put that in your car and go out and listen for that thing, and then you get out once you get really close to it, and then change the antenna, put something like either the rubber ducky or something smaller than that. Some radios even some radios, mine doesn't do it, but I've seen some radios where you can unscrew I'm talking about HTs, handy-talkies. You can unscrew the antenna and use that as an attenuator too. You can also do, go off frequency to attenuate the signal. So just keep that in mind. You don't need to get some fancy gear for this. It's just really fun, simple game. It's just, it becomes a little bit easier once somebody showed you how to do it once or twice. But yeah, it's for everybody, and it's a lot of fun, and it's a really good way of spending your weekend because it's fun. You get to discover the city and hang out with friends, and it's a good thing to do for the weekends too. All right, let's pass the mic now to Rusty, WZ5EBS, our president, with the club and trivia announcements. Rusty, the mic is yours.
That was not me. All right, let's see if maybe we can keep some stuff off frequency. Maybe we've got some of those Pico balloons checking in on the repeater. So for all our new people out there, the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club has a trivia net right here every Friday at 9 p.m. Last week we had 40 players. It's averaging between 40 and 50 people, so it's getting to be pretty big. Mike AI5JS was the winner of the trivia net last week with 1,648 points. Sky N5LX coming in second place with 1,285 points, and Scott KI5OBD coming in third with 1,227 points. The elimination rounds seem to be hard for everybody. This week's going to be fun. We got some new stuff coming into the game, so I'm looking forward to seeing everybody's reaction, aka bitching and moaning on Discord. But the elimination round, Sky won that one. Although he got to the second question, he was the only one to make it to the second question. So way to go, Sky. N5LX for making that happen. As far as official TriviaNet player rankings go, guess what? Kent, KI5RBT, he's in the #1 spot. He hadn't been there for long, but he has crept his way up there. Karin, KI5ZPA, is in the #2 slot, and Jared, N5AFC, in the #3 spot. Anybody can play. All you need is a smartphone, a tablet, or a computer. The bingo starts at 8:30, so you have something to do while you're hanging out for the net to begin. Check out player rankings, stats, net logs, anything that your heart desires about the Friday Night TriviaNet. You can head over to n5oak.org and click on the TriviaNet tab. Everything is there. All you got to do is make your way to the website. As far as official club business goes, we have no new members as of last Thursday. We are still sitting at 501 members. Way to go, guys. The next club meeting will be Saturday, April 22nd at the Austin Public Library. All the information can be found on the website as well as the Discord channel with the given name. Our club guest is still to be announced, but I'm getting him penciled in there, so we'll let you know who's going to be giving a presentation. But we got a fun one for this upcoming meeting. And like Ernesto said, we are doing testing at our next club meeting. It's our first go-around, so we are still, the paper isn't even dry yet on our application. We're still trying to figure stuff out and get people trained and all that kinds of fun. So if it is time to get your license, or if you are Uncle Ray or Anderson, you know, you're going to go and get your extra. Get in there, make it happen. We gave you an extra week at April 22nd. The meeting was set for the weekend before, but that is the weekend of Belton. So we decided to take that off, and so everybody has an extra week to study. For all the information, you can find it on the website as well as our Get Licensed channel on Discord. Don't forget the Wind Down Net this Sunday, every Sunday, Ernesto and Mireya, our very own Miresto, KI5PZN and KI5SYX every Sunday at 7:30. It's a great way to tell us what you did over the weekend. And the easiest way to stay up to date is to subscribe to the official club calendar. You can head over to n5oak.org and click on the calendar tab to make that happen. You can also add your birthday. Happy birthday, Matt, K5TMT as well. And yeah, I think that's all I got. Thanks for running the net, Ernesto. And as far as balloon projects, I'm totally down to launch a balloon. We need to paint a target on there though, so that way we at least give them some practice. WZ5VBS, back to net control.
Yeah, man. We can do something like that. We paint our faces there, and that would be their target. But well, thank you, man. Thanks for the for all the announcements and everything you do for the club. Always appreciate that. And let's see, it's time for station ID. You are listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, brought to you by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, @ N5OAK. We are here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. My name is Ernesto, KI5PZN, and I'm your net controller for tonight's net. I'm about to get started with check-ins. New hams are encouraged to check in, so if you are a new ham or you haven't been on the air much since you got your license, this is the perfect net for you. We will absolutely love to hear from you. We all get excited when new people check in. Yes, we're that nerdy. To help with the conversation flow tonight, I have a question for the net. The question for tonight is, alright, you'll be stranded on a desert island. What 5 items would you take? You'll be stranded on a desert island. What 5 items do you take? You don't have to answer tonight's question, but it would be a lot cooler if you did. Alright, let's do regular check-ins. Any licensed operator, no club membership is required. And we got all of the repeaters up and running, and they need some warming up. So please call in with your name and call sign slowly.
This is N5LX.
This is Kilo 5, Bravo Zulu India, Ray in South Austin, Texas.
This is K5MWA, Mike in the Oak Hill.
This is WZ5BBS, Rusty, South Dallas.
This is
KI5KAT Stephen, South Austin today. This is
Alpha India 5 Juliet Tango, this is Rick in Highland.
This is Kilo India 5, South Austin.
KI5, there was some interference there, and I couldn't get your call sign or name.
Kilo India 5, Brandon in South Austin.
Double. All right. Brandon, can you, there's still something going on, if it's a double or some interference there. I got KI5 and then the B at the end. Would you mind?
Sorry about that. Working on out of my new mobile install. Kilo India 5, Zulu India Bravo, Brandon in South Austin, maybe with some issues today that I'll have to debug later.
Worked out just fine now, thank you. All right, who else wants to check in? All right. Let's go and check now with Sky N5LX. Sky, what's going on, man? How is the week treating you, my friend?
This is N5LX in Oak Hill, beautiful downtown Oak Hill. It's been a pretty good week. I went to see a concert yesterday afternoon at KMFA. It was with a friend of mine. It was fun. You said it was a desert island. I can't narrow it down to 5 items, but I'm gonna take a stab at it. So I would want my Go box that I just put together, which is, I don't know if that's one item, if it would count as one item, but it's got a solar panel too. So I'd have all my communication stuff in a box. I would definitely want some reading material. Let's throw that into a box, so that's one item. A water filter and some fishing tackle, and I don't know. I mean, that's more than one item, really, but I mean, that's kind of the basic stuff. Reset. The other stuff that's been going on this week is, I mentioned it, I did kind of get my portable rig set up with the batteries and the solar panel and the HF transceiver and made all my cables and everything, and it works great. And I've been trying it out with my MagLoop antenna, and it worked good for a couple of days, but when I took it out this morning when it was like 45 degrees out, the antenna wouldn't resonate, and I think that the vacuum capacitor has been dropped, and maybe the vacuum envelope is leaking, and that would account for it, because it would have condensation inside. So I think once it kind of dried out and warmed up inside, it started working again. So I can probably use it as long as, act like an air capacitor. And I think the gap inside is wide enough so that the voltage I'm operating at, it won't arc. So it'll probably work, if the weather's okay. But I'm going to have to get another vacuum capacitor. But anyway, the portable rig was kind of the fun thing that I got going radio-wise.
Well, awesome, man. Pretty cool. You got to go to a concert. What type of music was that concert? Back to you.
I'm terrible with names. I can't remember the name of the lady. It was Michelle something. She's a really wonderful pianist, and she was playing some music that's kind of obscure, so I wasn't familiar with it. But she was a really dynamic, really kind of flamboyant artist, and it was fun to watch. I think it was Michelle Schumann, and I don't remember the name of the composer, but she played some compositions that were written by a relatively unknown composer, so she was kind of helping to bring that composer's works kind of into the limelight. But anyway, it was a lot of fun.
Well, awesome, man. Yeah, it's flamboyant artist. It's usually interesting. Awesome, man. What radio do you have in your Go box? I'm curious. Back to you.
Yeah, well, you know, hams can't just have one radio. So I've got, you know, for my base station up here, I've got a IC7300. I don't really have a very good antenna. It's just an attic dipole, fan dipole. But for my portable rig, I got an FT891, and I really like it. I think it's got a great receiver. Of course, it doesn't have the scope, you know, which is nice to have. But other than that, I think the receiver's great, and I've gotten good reports. They say that it sounds really good, so I'm happy with it. I just want to get the mag loop going because I've had really good success with it so far. Every time I tried a station, they always heard me and gave me really good signal reports, so I'm going to get that thing going.
Oh, awesome, man. Yeah, that's A91. I have one of those radios, and it's kick-ass. I'm thinking about eventually mounting it on my truck, but I don't know, might do a Go box. That sounds interesting too. When you get a chance, if you don't mind, please share the if you haven't, you probably had and I just missed it. Please share a picture of that on the Go box channel on Discord so we can check it out. On the mag loop antenna, and forgive me if I'm saying something completely dumb here. Can you I guess use like silicone or something like that to keep the water out? Back to you.
Yeah, it's kind of counterintuitive. When the vacuum, I'm pretty sure the vacuum seal's broken on it, so the air's leaking in there. The reason they have a vacuum is because you can have a much higher voltage without the arcing in there because there's no air to get ionized or no gases in there to get ionized. So if it's leaking, you could seal it. That might help, or it might. It's kind of counterintuitive. It might even help if you had like a fan that was like blowing air through it. But I'm not real sure. I'll investigate further. But yeah, I mean that's an idea, I guess, to take into consideration.
Well, man, you are one smart person for sure. I wouldn't know how to start with that stuff, and it's pretty cool to hear you talking about those projects because even though I can't participate and do anything like that, it's fun, and some of them I understand what you're doing, and it's fun to hear that somebody's doing that from their house. Let's see. All right, well, let me open up the floor here to see if anybody wants to say hi. We got Sky here on the net. If you want to say hi to him, please call in with your name and call sign.
Yeah. 5MWA.
Go ahead, Mike.
Hey there, Sky. Just want to say howdy, neighbor. We figured out Sky lives probably, I don't know, 3-4 blocks from me. I could probably throw a rock and hit his house.
Howdy.
All right. Well, thank you, Mike, for calling in and saying hi to Sky. Does anybody else have anything for Sky, questions or comments? Please call in with your name and call sign.
K5BZF.
Go ahead, Uncle Ray.
Hey, Sky. Yeah, thanks for telling us about the vacuum switch there. We were talking during field day about the vacuum switch that is built inside my ART-13, my military radio, and about why it's a vacuum switch. It's a switch that switches between the transmitter for antenna and the receiver for antenna, which can connect directly to the transmitter. And we all were sort of guessing that that's probably what it was, to keep it from being able to spark when it makes a switch. So it's good to hear you say that. Thanks for sharing. I'll let you have it, K5BCI.
Thanks, Ray. Yeah, that's interesting. I'll be glad to when I finish getting this mag loop working, I'll share whatever I've learned with everybody. I kind of have a practical approach. I'm not really up on the theory, I'm no expert, but once I figure out something that works, I'll make sure I let everybody know. I think anybody could build one, really.
N5SMO.
Go ahead, Bill.
Hey, just a couple of things. Sky, I'm curious where you got it at. Was it like was it from a ham radio supplier place? I'd be curious if that is the case. And also to Ray's comment about relays, it's a little bit different with the relays, why they use the vacuum. It's mainly to keep the contacts from oxidizing, where you want to get really, really long life out of a relay that cycles a lot of times. A common place you'll see it is in the keying relay of older radios that have full break-in for CW, where that thing is just basically clicking 3 or 4 times for every character you send. And with a vacuum in there, that relay will just live forever. And most of them are probably still operational in radios from, like the 70s and 80s. That's all I got. Back to that.
N5LX. That reminds me that what's really funny, you made me think of something. I just got through repairing my washing machine, and it had the same problem you just described, where it's like an electromechanical timer, and it has all these contacts, and every time it opens, there's like a little spark, and eventually the carbon builds up on it, and I think it oxidizes too. So if it was a vacuum switch, it'd probably last forever, but then the manufacturers wouldn't be able to sell you another one.
Yeah, Roger. Planned obsolescence. Buy a new one in 20 years if you're lucky.
All right. Well, thank you, Bill, for your comment. Anybody else have any comment or question for Sky? Please call in with your name and call sign. All right. Well, thank you, Sky, for checking in and also for helping out tonight on tonight's net, helping with the news and the Fox News. I really appreciate your help, man. Do you have anything else for the net before I let you go, my friend?
Yeah, I forgot to answer his question. The vacuum capacitors, they're hard to find. There's a whole bunch of them, like on eBay, but you have to be really careful because a lot of those they're secondhand, and the reason they're being sold is they maybe have arcing or some problem with them. I don't know if you can trust those. So I ended up getting one from a commercial communications company that I found online. But still, I may have dropped it myself, or maybe it got dropped in shipping or something, but so I'm going to pursue that, see if I can find another one. In the meantime, I think it'll still work, but obviously not going from hot to cold in a relatively short period of time. It's not going to work that way.
All right. Well, there you have it, and well, thank you, Sky, again for checking into tonight's net and for answering all of the questions that the guy had. Appreciate everything you've been doing lately, man, and thanks again, and we will talk to you soon. Let's go now and check with Ray, K5BZI, and for those of you who don't know Ray hosts the Oak Hill Southside Simplex, and that's on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on the 146.555 megahertz frequency, and that's every Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Ray, what's going on, man? How's the week treating you, my friend?
Man, week's treating me pretty good. This is K5BZI. Hello, Net. I am currently here with Mike, MWA, on the Discord video chat, sharing the video. I'm in my garage sanding my car, so if you like watching paint dry, you can join in and watch me sand my car. But I had a quick question. Who did the news?
Well, Sky.
Yeah, Sky, I just want to tell you, man, don't ever worry about the reports going wrong. People love to listen. That's why people tune into our nets on the week. And so the longer the better. It's it's what they call content, and we love to listen to it. So no worries there. Great job on it. Let's see. You'll have to bear with my shortness of breath. I've been standing for the last hour and a half, 2 hours. But anyway, I have an answer for your question. 5 things is actually quite a lot, and it's pretty easy. Definitely my radio gear. I got to go with Sky on this and lump that into one thing, so I'd have to have ham radio gear. I'd have to have a case of Jim Beam, a case of buffalo wings, and 2 young ladies, and I think I would be just fine on an island. I'll let it drop. Let's see, what else? I have been working on my CW skills, and so to keep expectations in check, Rusty, I probably will not test in April because it's been a long time since I've gotten the fire under me to practice my CW, and I've been doing that, so I'm going to try to keep that momentum going and see if I can't get my skills back up. So count me in on the next one, though. I will definitely take the time to study and get ready for the next testing session. But in the meantime, I'm going to continue my hot streak of doing my CW. I've been doing pretty good on it, by the way. And with that, Pat, if you're listening, I didn't join the net tonight because I was in the garage sanding, but I will definitely do that next time. Other than that, I think that's about it for me. Yeah. Thanks to everybody for all you do, especially the Fox Hunt folks. If you do check into the Fox Hunt channel and you don't see anything scheduled, don't give up because a lot of times they pop up on Thursday or Friday. And that's it. Thanks, Ernesto, for hosting tonight. And 7-3 to the net. We'll catch you guys later. K5BZI in the garage.
All right, man. Well, thank you for checking in and painting the car. How's that going? What do you have a lot left on to do on that project? Back to you, Ray.
Yeah, I've got the underside all cleaned and painted, and I got wheels back on it. The body now. I've got everything that I've painted, cleaned and painted, masked off, and I'm now sanding the body in preparation for primer. Hopefully, I'll have that project finished tonight where I can prime it. I'd like to get it primed. My paint will be here in the next couple of days, and I'd like to get it primed in time for it to cure so that maybe I can do some painting on Sunday, but I don't know. It'll probably take a couple of coats of primer and a boatload of sanding to get it prepped for paint, so I'm not going to count my chickens on that one, but it's coming along, man. Got a pretty good shot of it on the camera if you want to join us over on the video chat. Back to you. That's K5BZI.
Awesome, dude, and it was very interesting your choices for the 5 items to take to the deserted island. On the CW, are you able to copy, by year, or how are you doing that part so far? I'm still using an app to decode, but it seems like, every week there's less letters that I have to look up, but how are you doing that part? Back to you.
Well, I passed the novice exam back in the 80s, which meant that I had to pass a CW test. And I don't remember what that, I think it was 12 words a minute back then, but right now it seems like I'm somewhere around 10, and I've been practicing enough. I can't copy in my head. I have to write it down. I always did. And I have been going to bed at night with it in my ear. I'll play like a YouTube video or maybe tune in on a web SDR and then fall asleep listening to it and try to copy it in my head as I'm falling asleep. But I am finding that right now, with the practice that I've been doing, that the biggest issue I'm having right now is writing it down fast enough. By the time I don't write very well in script form, I write print form, and so by the time I get the letter written down, they're already on to the next one, and so that's been my biggest issue. So, but anyway, that's progress, I guess. K5BZI.
No, I hear you. I try to copy, write it down. It's just not, I can't even go there. So I know it's going to take me longer than, I guess, your average person, but my goal is to copy it, by ear at some point, but we'll see. It's funny, you said you go to bed listening to CW. That reminds me, I know it has nothing to do with this, but it reminds me of The Big Lebowski. I don't know if you remember the scene that he's like laying down on the rug, and he's listening to even though it's a tape, it's an audio tape, he's listening to the bowling finals. Do you remember that? I don't know if you do. Back to you.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. I've seen that movie a billion times. Oh yeah, it's good stuff.
Oh man, that's what it reminded me. Oh, and we have Ray here. K5BZI, if you want to say hi to him, if you have any questions for him, please call in with your name and call sign.
And 5SMO, Bill?
Go ahead, Bill.
Hey, Ray, I just wanted to tell you a couple days back, that picture you put up of in that thread talking about the kill room, of that when you were painting your car with all the plastic and the red paint smeared around. That looked so real, man. I cracked up when I saw that. That was hilarious. That's excellent.
Yeah. I'm in the kill room right now. There's no red paint today, but all the plastic's back up. Yeah. It works.
Dexter room there, pretty much. We got Ray here. If you want to say hi to him, if you have any questions, please call in with your name and call sign.
K5MWA.
Go ahead, Mike.
Ray, we missed you on 6 Meter Monday, and we missed you on Simplex on Tuesday. There's only a couple of us there, but we had a good time.
Yeah, Roger. 6 Meter Monday, I don't usually jump out there, especially considering I do Tuesdays, Thursdays, a lot of radio on the weekends, cars on the weekends and stuff. My wife and I have date night on Wednesday, but Tuesday was Valentine's Day, so so date night wound up being Tuesday, so that's why you missed me there. But yeah, it's not very often I'm on Monday nights, but I'll start jumping in there now. We're getting close to 6 meter season, and I definitely want to keep the beam up.
Well, we broke a barrier on 6 Meter Monday. Ernesto could hear me, and I could hear him. We made it, barely, but we made it. And we were talking along there and had somebody call us up from down in the Conroe area that got in just barely. I heard him, and I could copy his call sign, but that was about it. But yeah, I got in somebody from Conroe. Then Tuesday night on Simplex, I met a new ham, and he turned out to be a neighbor of mine.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, well, that's good news about Monday, because that means the band might be starting to open up a little. That's cool. So yeah, you'll hear me on Mondays if you hear coming up this spring. So good stuff, man. K5BZI, back to net.
Thank you, Mike, for the comment. We have Ray here on the net. If you want to say hi to him or have any questions, please call in with your name and call sign.
KC3, NAG.
Go ahead, Randy.
Yeah, I always have questions about Ray. Back to net control.
Thank you. It's always fun having you, Randy. Thank you for calling in. All right, Ray, do you have anything else for the net before I let you go?
No, sir, that's about it, man. Thanks for hosting, and 7-3, everybody. K5BZI. Monitoring.
All right, people, that was Ray, and don't forget to go and visit him on Tuesdays on the 146.555 at 8 p.m. Well, you're listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, brought to you by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club. Call sign N5OAK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. My name is Ernesto, K-I-5-P-Z-N, that's Papa Zulu November, and I'm your net controller for tonight's net. All right, we just talked to Ray, and we're going to go now and visit with Mike, K5MWA. Mike, what's going on, my friend? How is the week treating you?
So far, so good. I'm enjoying watching Ray standing on that hot rod. If anybody's not watching on Discord, it's quite entertaining to see him do that. Like I mentioned to him, we did 2 Meter Tuesday, our Southside Simplex, and someone called up, and I answered and talked to him for a while, and I got to looking up the call sign, and lo and behold, it lives like 3 houses over from me. We were talking on his HT. His name is Claude, and he is KI5ZQE. So if anybody runs across him, give him a good welcome. And if you're listening tonight, go ahead and jump in there and check in. 10 meters was open really, really well tonight, or this evening. And I caught Cuba, Venezuela, Chile, Brazil, and Canada all on 10 meters in like an hour's time. So that was pretty good. Outside of that, nothing much more to report, but I'll turn it back to Net, and that's all I got. It's K5MWA.
Well, also, Mike, it's funny that you're saying that watching Ray doing, standing and doing his work when I was a kid, that we used to do that, and I remember we grew up in the country, and there was a couple of shops and, body shops and mechanic shop, and kids, we didn't have anything to do. This is back in the 70s, early 80s. We'd ride a bike and just go there and post in the shop and just be annoying, but they wouldn't mind. They just let us, watch and whatever, and it's kind of fun to watch people do that type of work. I do some light, I guess, mechanic work and stuff, but body work, I don't have the finesse in my hands for that kind of stuff. In 10 meters, let me reset. I know I was talking about 10 meters, but yeah, it's been pretty wild. It's been super active. I forgot what day it was, but it was like maybe 5 or 6 days ago that I got up early in the morning and I got Italy on 10 meters. I was pretty shocked. It was super, super clear, and all I have is just 100 watts and not a whole lot of antenna here, but it's pretty cool. 10 meters for you guys listening. It's pretty active. You can talk to, you just heard Mike. He talked to a bunch of countries in no time. So it's a really good band to go and play. A lot of DX and I know 6 meters is coming up too. So 6 meters for those of you who have a technician license, you can go and play in 6 meters, and that's a huge one too. That goes from 50.100 all the way to 54 megahertz, and that's quite a bit. So something to keep in mind. And those antennas, dipoles on 6 meter and 10 meters are not that big, so you don't even need a lot of real estate to put those antennas up. Well, we have Mike here on the net, K5MWA. If you want to say hi to Mr. Mike or have any question for him, please call in with your name and call sign. All right. Nothing heard, but I have a question. I have one more question for you, Mike, and that was the question for the night. What 5 items would you take to that island?
Well, now, it has to be practical. I would have to disagree with Ray about taking 2 chicks, because you get 2 of them in one place for too long, you're going to end up dead. I would have to say big box of seeds, maybe, of course, a radio. Of course, if it's a deserted island, there's no need for UHF and VHF. It has to be HF all the way, and a roll of wire to go with it, and probably something to start fires with, of course, because you'll have to have that. And what was that, 3 so far? That's a good start right there. Something to filter water with until I can figure out another way to filter water, and guess that's it.
Oh, awesome, man. It's interesting to hear the different versions of this. I'm curious to hear what everybody else would be saying too. Well, awesome, Mike. Do you have anything else for the net before I let you go?
That's all I can think of at the moment. You guys have a good weekend.
All right, Mike. We will be talking to you soon, and thanks again for checking into tonight's net. It's always a pleasure talking to you, my friend. Right. So let's check now with this dude here, WZ5BBS. I think he goes by Rusty. Rusty, what's going on, man? How's your week treating you?
Hey, Ernesto, everybody on the net. It's been a good week. I haven't had to pick up any sticks, so my back is appreciative. And just kind of getting back to work and doing my thing. I got the fireplace loaded up with all the excrement that fell out of the trees last couple of weeks. So looking forward to having a nice fire. It's supposed to be down in the 30s tomorrow morning. Haven't really done a whole lot with HF. Honestly, I haven't put my antenna back up since all the craziness. Every time I walk outside, there's branches that come down, especially with this wind. So I'm kind of waiting for all the shrapnel to rattle out of the trees before I go about putting anything else in. So the HF has been off. I've been on the repeaters a little bit. Slacker chat's been pretty light. I did get to talk to Sammy today. That was nice. Haven't talked to Sammy in a good bit. And Mike, KG5GYM, he was on there a little earlier as well. So, yeah, man, just kind of playing work and, being boring and doing that. As far as I put together my list, so I hope you're ready. If I was on a deserted island, this is the 5 things that I would bring. Radio gear, which is a check. A boat, because, why not? Fire starter, so, you get hungry. A keg of something, not real sure what, but, plenty of liquids. And then, unlike Ray, who would bring along 2 women, I would bring along the entire harem. That way, they could fight each other out, and eventually we would have dinner. So, there you have it. There's the top 5 of what I'd bring. Thanks for running the net, man. And thanks for fox hunting. It was a fun one. You too, Sky. Thanks for making that. You always do really cool fox hunts. WZ5BBS, back to net control.
Awesome, man. You make me laugh there. So I guess, I was going to ask you about the branches. I guess this last round of wind are taking whatever was left out there. Are you seeing like a bunch of them popping up again, or it's just like a couple? Back to you.
Well, I mean, considering there was 10,000 the first time, it's just a few. Not the big branches, just smaller branches, mostly with leaves and whatnot that'll catch the wind. But it's definitely, I haven't been walking under the trees. And out here, when I go for my walks around the neighborhood, man, it is incredible. They had a big FEMA truck out here at one of the intersections on one of the major roads, and it was a double trailer. The trailer was lined with like half-inch thick steel plating, like it looked like an armored tree branch truck, and they had a kind of a backhoe thing in between, and man, that thing was going to town. And even with 2 monster trailers in that, they could only get about halfway down the block before they have to go dump it wherever they went to go dump it. But lots of people out here cleaning up, lots of branches. It's still, everybody's got a good 10-foot privacy fence on my street, so it's going to take them a while to come pick up all this shrapnel.
For sure, it's everywhere you go, man. I don't even know. I guess they're going to be shredding all that stuff away, and there's going to be plenty of fertilizer at some point in the area. Well, that's cool, man. I'm glad to hear that things are going well. I know work picks up and radio suffers from that too. I have the radio on today for a little bit, but I have a bunch of phone calls, and I couldn't listen like I normally do. But I haven't talked to Sammy on the radio in a little bit. Well, that's pretty cool. You got to talk to him. I'll need to bug him soon and see what's going on with him. Well, everybody, we have Rusty here, WZ5BBS, El Presidente. If you have any questions, comments, or complaints, that's the guy, that's the president. So please call in with your name and call sign. All right. Well, Rusty, do you have anything else for the net before I let you go?
No, man. I think that's it. Just I guess as far as the newest and exciting thing for the club is the VE team. So I'm looking forward to Philip getting that all done and seeing how that's going to work. Our first session is going to be the first club meeting, and I'm really looking forward to it. I like the ones that we do over up in North Austin with Jim. It'll be fun to see how well or not well, or how planned and prepared we are for this. So we shall see. But yeah, looking forward to being a W5YI VE as well as the ARRL. So that's about it, man. Back to net control.
Well, awesome, man. Thanks again for everything you do for the club. And I guess I'll ping you if we see anything on the Fox Hunt channel, so we can try to get some fox hunting going on this week, and hopefully bring new people to get them started on that as well. Well, that was Rusty, and for those of you who don't know Rusty, aside from being the president of the club, he runs a trivia net every Friday on this frequency. That's at 9 p.m. on this frequency. It's called the Oak Hill Friday Night Trivia Net, and it's a fun net to participate. And I'll give more details about that a little later. All right, well, you are listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, brought to you by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, call sign N5OAK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central, and my name is Ernesto, KI5PZN, and I'm your net controller for tonight's net. We're going to go now and check with Steven, KI5KAT. Steven, what's going on, man? How is the week treating you?
Well, I'll keep it short. Just sitting here, hanging out with the boy and the cats, and just, hanging out. Not doing much. Listening to some music, playing some games. That's about it. Typical stuff. KI5KAT.
Hey, man, that's golden. I like doing that kind of stuff, just chilling and taking it easy, and if there's a cool net going on, even better. Well, Steven, I have a question for you. What 5 items would you take to a deserted island? Back to you, Steven.
That one's easy. My Apex 8000 XE and 4 Longboy batteries. That's it. I'd be good for about 30 days on UHF, VHF, and 800, 700. So easy. My radio stuff.
Oh, right on, man. I knew everybody's going to say radio, and it makes sense, too. Well, awesome, man. Glad that things are going well. You're having a good Thursday night. And let's open up the floor. We have Steven here, KI5KAT. If you want to say hi to him, if you have any questions for him, please call in with your name and call sign.
N5LX.
Go ahead, Sky.
Yeah, you left out a solar panel so that your batteries can be recharged.
But then I'd have to bring the charge block and the charger. So that's 2 items minus a couple batteries. But you are right.
All you have to do is put them in one box, and then it's one item, like I did.
I don't know if that would cut it, like putting things in one box. I mean, like that's... it's technically one item, so I'd accept it, but... I don't know, you could say a box of Apex batteries? Yeah, sure. A box of, 4 boxes, okay, yeah, sure, we'll go with that. A charger and the cable and 2 boxes of Longboy Apex batteries straight from Motorola, plus the radio. Back to that.
There you go.
It's funny because Sky went with the loophole. He found a loophole there, but yeah, we got a one item for me will be a suitcase full of stuff. Thank you, Sky, for your comment. Does anybody else have any comment or question for Steven? If so, please call in with your name and call sign.
K5BZI.
Go ahead, Uncle Ray.
Sky, have you ever seen Steven's setup at Field Day, man? He doesn't put anything in a box.
What?
You're right about that.
Well, mine's not really a Go box. It's a Pelican case, and I just throw everything in there.
I just spoke to Steven. But yeah, I definitely agree that we should, the ham radio gear should just count as one thing.
Yeah, I used to have a nice, really good Go box with the 9700 and the 7300, but then I sold those because, you know, got my dad's 7100 back, but I need to really get a Go box going again because those were really, it was really awesome to have that Go box with those two radios in it. Back to Net.
Well, awesome. Thank you, Ray, for your comment. Does anybody have any comments or questions for Steven before we let him go?
W0TCO.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Hey, if I put my house into a box, does that count as a one item on the island, or how does that work?
Man, you guys should if you guys are not attorneys, you should be looking into it, because you guys are taking advantage of the loophole here, and it ain't happening. Thanks, Andrew, for your comment there. Steven, do you have anything else for the net before I let you go, my friend?
No, I'm good. Take it easy, y'all. 73.
All right, Steven, thank you for checking into the net. It's always nice talking to you. We'll hear from you soon, man. All right, let's go and check now with Rick, AI5JT. Rick, what's going on, man? How is the week treating you?
Thanks, Nesto. The week has been going great. AI5JT. Let's see. The Minutes at Fox Hunt over the weekend, as you know, and I saw your name on the logbook before I got there, so congrats on that. And got some attenuators in the mail so we can go out the next time and do it a little bit better. Back to you, AI5JT.
Well, awesome, man. Was this your first Fox? Back to you.
Yes, it was. Also had Tina with me on Saturday. She couldn't go with me on Sunday. So this was also her first attempt as well. Back to you, AI5JT.
Still there, Rick? AI5JT from KI5PZN on the net. Rick, are you still there?
AI5JT, we had to switch repeaters. We're back.
All right, I'm glad that you're still around. Hey, so do you mind real quick telling us how you found the Fox? Since this is your first one and you didn't go with one of the old Fox hunters. Back to you.
Well, I was used to hunting down much larger towers and with higher power levels, so that helped a little bit with the driving around part, but I never had to actually get out and then start walking around. That was new to me. AI5JT, back to you.
Awesome, man. I'm glad that you were able to find it and participate too. And yeah, definitely those attenuators they're going to make your life a lot easier. They're not needed, but they should make it easier for sure, man. All right, well, we got Rick here on the net. If you want to say hi to him, or if you have any questions for him, please call in with your name and call sign. Well, all right, nothing heard. Rick, are you going to the breakfast this coming Saturday? Back to you.
No, I'm going to be at the Wilco breakfast Saturday morning. I rotate through the different breakfasts, so I'll be at a different one this weekend. AI5JT, back to you, Ernesto.
Right on, man. Yeah, last Saturday I actually went to the Hamburg one, so I'm starting to do that as well. Before I let you go, what 5 items would you take to a desert island? Back to you.
Let's see. The hassle with an HF rig is you got to power the darn thing, and so if you're on an island, you pretty much need solar. So we're talking solar, HF, which leaves you not much left. So snorkel, fins, and a spirit gun, and that's my list. There you go. Back to you, AF5JT.
Awesome, man. Yeah, not bad. Awesome. First one with the gun. That sure makes it a lot easier for hunting. All right, Rick, do you have anything else for the net before I let you go?
No, not tonight. We'll look forward to catching you again next week. Thanks so much. Good night. AF5JT.
All right, man. Well, appreciate you checking into tonight's net. It's always nice talking to you, and we'll be talking to you soon. All right, let's go and check now with Brandon, KI5ZIB. Brandon, what's going on, man? How is the week treating you?
Hey, Ernesto. Week's going well. I think my mobile setup is more or less ready to roll, which means I'm now back in my office, my shack on my Baofeng. But yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about the antenna snapping off in the wind off of my truck, but we'll see. Looking forward to testing it out and maybe trying to get on a fox hunt with you guys soon. KI5CID, back to the net.
Awesome, yeah, man. If you want to get on fox hunting and you want to ride with us, just let me know. You can find me on Discord. Those antennas, those mag mounts, I don't know which one you have, but I have 3 mag mounts in my truck, because why not? And I drive to Fort Worth pretty often, and I'm usually going, 85, 90 miles an hour, and one of them is like super long. It's like 5 feet long up there. So, I mean, so far I haven't had any issues with any of those antennas coming off. But I guess you never know. It depends on, the antenna you got. But hopefully those magnets are pretty sturdy for what I hear. And I used to have when I was younger CB antennas. They were mag mount too. And I so far I've never had any issues with them coming off unless I guess you hit something really hard. But they'll just be hanging from the truck. Well, right on, man. I have a question for you. What 5 items would you take to a deserted island? Back to you.
Well, that's a tough one. Yeah, I think a spear gun does sound pretty good. I'd probably take a spear gun, a surfboard, I don't know, something to crack a coconut with. How about an axe? Yeah, gotta take my trusty Baofeng, and we'll take a water bottle, something like that. Something to get some water and. Yeah, I didn't end up doing a mag mount. I did a lip mount, and I have this kind of quad band antenna, so it's a little bit heavier than the mag mount that I've got in my shack, but we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted. Back to the net, KI5ZIB.
All right on, man. All right, yeah. Those, I've never had one of those, but I'm sure the guys, plenty of flavors here within the club, so somebody would probably have, for sure they have them, but I guess we'll have less issues with that one. I don't know. We'll see how that goes, and hopefully you will not have anything happen. Well, we got Brandon here on the net. If you would like to say hi to him, please call in with your name and call sign. All right. Well, nothing heard. Brandon, do you have anything else for the net before I let you go?
Nothing here. Thanks, Ernesto. KI5ZIB.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you checking into tonight's net. And like I said, if there's a fox hunt this weekend, which we still don't know, If you want to go, just shoot me a message and we'll figure something out. Alright, well, you are listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, brought to you by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, callsign N5OAK. We are here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. My name is Ernesto, KI5PZN, that's Papa Zulu November, and I'm your net controller for tonight's net. Alright, well, we are at the end of our first round of regular check-ins, and we are looking for more check-ins. So if you would like to participate on this awesome net, and for those of you guys who checked in as short timers earlier, if you want to come in also and answer that question, feel free to do a recheck. I'm more than happy to talk to you guys. So please call in with your name and call sign now.
This is November 5 Sierra Mike Oscar Bill, North Austin.
Alright. Anybody else wants to do a regular check-in, please call in with your name and call sign.
This is KC3 NAG Randy Andersonville, coming in on the flagship 320.
Alright. We got Bill and Randy. Well, let's go and check with Bill, N5SMO. Bill, what's going on, man? How is the week treating you?
Hey Ernesto, thanks for running the net, man. It's good. I got the chores out of the way, got all the down limbs down and cut up and stacked up, waiting to get picked up, and took all the dead stuff out of the garden. It was left over from last year. I was amazed though. We had Brussels sprouts and spinach we planted for a fall garden. They're totally unfazed, man. It didn't bother them at all. They're doing great. Got baby Brussels sprouts like crazy, and the spinach is just going nuts. It loves the ice. Let me let it drop. But yeah, it's going good. Otherwise, my desert island stuff. I'd have to go with fishing gear, a knife, one of those magnesium fire starter sticks, and a cast iron frying pan and a water filter. And I think I can stay out there. And if I have that, I don't really want a radio because I don't think I really want to come home anyway. That's all I got. Back to net, N5SMO.
That's great, Bill. Oh man, that's a good one right there. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that things are going well, that you got all the brushes and everything under control. And regarding the Brussels sprout and spinach, it's amazing how those things work. It's you know, you forget about them, and if the weather's, I guess, work with them, they'll stick around. I have that with I've seen it with cilantro. Cilantro is like, I don't even know how to say it, but that thing could be covered in ice, and once the ice melts, the cilantro comes back like nothing happened, like it had nothing to do with them. And the same thing when it's like 112 degrees, the cilantro always looks good. So some of those things are pretty amazing. I know that the Brussels sprout and spinach are more for colder weather, but it's always cool to see things like that, because I do, well, it's been a little bit, but I usually have some boxes in the back of the house and do some gardening. And it's pretty neat to see that when it starts raining and things that you didn't remember you had there start also sprouting, so that's pretty cool too. Yeah, man, that's pretty, it always amazes me. It's one of those things that I never get used to it every time I see things like that popping out without, you know, I know you planted them at some point, but it's kind of neat to see that happening. Let me reset. Any fun, any radio fun plans for, you know, the next few days? Back to you.
Well, I'm going to hopefully try to work a little bit to get some DX in the contest that's coming up this weekend. I'm not going to sit down and work it seriously, but I'm going to try to take advantage of it, of all the stations that are out there. It's actually been pretty good the last couple of days, I guess. The people that operate these, these stations in the Caribbean that go out and run these contest stations, there's been a lot of activity on 12 meters and 10 meters from these guys in the Caribbean. So I was chasing some of those and probably try to do some more of that this weekend. And that's about it. Back to you, Ernesto, and the rest of the group, N5SMO.
Oh, awesome, man. Yeah, I rarely hear people here on 12 meter. Every once in a while I do. But I was talking to this guy a while back from Puerto Rico, and he was telling me that 12 meters down there, it's very popular, and they're always messing around on 12 meters, which I didn't know. I took one time an HF radio back home, and I didn't even check on 12 meters. I should have checked, but yeah, they stay pretty active in the Caribbean, all the little islands, for what I've heard on 12, and obviously 10. I've heard them all the time now, but that's pretty neat, man. Well, we have Bill out here on the net, N5SMO. If you have any questions you want to say hi to him, please call in with your name and call sign. Well, I guess I put everybody to sleep. Bill, do you have anything else for the net before I let you go?
No, that's it, Ernesto. You have a good one.
All right, man. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and thanks again for always checking into the net, man. We'll talk to you soon. All right, let's go and check now with Mr. Randy, KC3NAG. Randy, what's going on, man? How is the week treating you?
Well, hi, Ernesto. And as you know, I always like to leave large space in there in case somebody needs to get in. The week? What week? I don't know. I don't know what week it is since Ray dragged me down to field day weekend, and it's just been a blur of generators, ice storms. I actually had a guy. I live in a cul-de-sac here, just northwest Austin. I had a guy come in with a skid steer loader with like rubber tracks onto it and big grapples instead of like a bucket. Man, he just took all this stuff right out of here in no time. So, for not any money. So that was cool. But one of my antennas broke. Oh no! Let me break. Because I don't want to tell the whining story anymore. So, my 40-20, 10, and 6 meter antenna broke, and I finally got to look at it like, I don't know, a couple days ago, and got it to where and it broke right at the end of right where it was going around the insulator, and I'm like, hey, okay, let me measure this. Okay, it's about 6 inches of wire, but it's halfway looped around. That's only like making it, the antenna 3 inches shorter. Well, we just loop this around, twist it up, solder it back together, because, being a wideband frequency thing, it ain't going to make a difference. And did some SWR onto it, and was pleasantly pleased at about, 1.5, 1.7 maybe. So, cool. KC3, NAG. Back to you, Ernesto.
Well, awesome, Randy. I'm glad that, I'm sorry to hear that it broke, but I'm glad to hear that you were able to fix it without too many issues there. And it's pretty cool that the guy stopped by your place and picked everything up. That's very nice, too. Was going to ask you, and I lost my train of thought here because I'm getting old and confused.
Well, I remind you, Desert Island.
Thank you, sir. That was where I was going to, and it's funny because I don't drink while I'm doing this thing, but I guess I should. Back to you, Randy.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, that's what makes the world go round. Desert island. Well, I have a question. You didn't specify, like, where? Like, you know, am I in a desert island, you know, up in the Aleutian Islands, or am I in the Caribbean, or, I mean, come on, man, like, you gotta be a little more descriptive.
You know, now that you say that, I was going to say that and totally forgot when I started the net. It was a tropical island. I'm sure that would make a difference in some people's decisions, except for Ray. I'm sure Ray will stick to his. But, yeah, it's a tropical island. Back to you.
Yeah, okay. Well, like, I'm a man of facts, and I'm very used to reducing a huge amount of variables down to one thing, so... I didn't hear tropical, so I'm like, hey, if I'm in the Aleutian Islands, I think I want some warm clothes. And yes, start a fire, and yes, you know, be able to purify water. And no matter where you go, you need the water, and you need to purify it, and be able to start a fire, and you know, you're good to go. But you know, I don't need, like, you know, my woolen winter overcoat if I'm going to the Bahamas. Come on, man.
Just sunblock.
Oh, no. You know what? I left that out. You got me, man. You got me.
You can always do, what was that movie, Predator, where Arnold would cover himself with mud, and that would keep you from the bugs and from getting sunburn. That's pretty neat, man. Well, awesome, man. It's it's a silly question, but I don't know. It keeps the combo flowing. We got Randy here on the net. If you want to say hi to him, or if you have any question for him, please call in with your name and call sign.
I love when the repeater talks back to me.
All right. I think I might have put everybody to sleep. Randy, thank you so much for calling in. Do you have anything else for the net before I let you go?
Yes, I do, actually. You know, Ray drove all the way up to North Austin to pick me up in his camper and took me down to field day. And, I mean, it's a ride, man, you know. But what was more interesting was taking a ride with Ray in his camper going down the highway, and he's got a CB radio going. He's got a 10-meter radio going. He's got a 2-meter radio going. And he's got, you know, Led Zeppelin or something playing on a cassette deck. But the interesting thing was there was a lot of information. There was a lot of people on the radio. And I have actually, now I have my antenna back up, you know, back into the CB channels. I heard this guy in Mississippi talking to a guy in Hawaii about an hour before the net. So, hey, 10, 11 meters, rock and roll. I wanted to let you all know. CC3NAG, back to net.
Yeah, man, no, I hear you. I have in my truck collections of radios. I have all that you mentioned there, plus a 220 radio, because why not? And but I usually just turn all that stuff up when Mireya comes in the truck, because that will drive her insane. But I'm just used to it. Plus, I'm kind of crazy, so I like listening to all those people. But yeah, I've never been in one of those campers before. I mean, I've been inside the camper while the camper's parked, but never while the camper is moving around. Did you is it like a bunch of stuff flying around while Ray's driving that camper? Back to you.
Well, you know, now that you mention it, you know, left lane, pedal to the metal, surprisingly, the propane tank never got slammed up into the back seat, but everything was pretty much under control. But it was a trip, man. I mean, it was really, really cool. I really enjoyed it. Y'all need to do it sometime, trust me.
Oh, awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that you had a good time. But yeah, Ray's a rebel, so he'll be on the left lane, pedal down on that thing. I can totally see him and then blasting the music, so I'm sure it was really fun. All right, man. Well, you have anything else here before we let you go?
Nah, that's it. I think everybody else went to sleep, man. I don't know. I'm just getting rolling. I got my HF antenna, and hey, let's see what's chatting.
Well, awesome, and yeah, I think I put everybody else to sleep. Well, I appreciate you calling in, Randy. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and hopefully we'll hear you on the next net. That was Randy. He checked into the net, and you can do so. All you need to do is call in with your name and call sign. But before we go there, let me do a quick ID. You're listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, brought to you by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, call sign N5OAK. We are here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. My name is Ernesto, KI5PZN, and I'm your net controller for tonight's net. We are looking for check-ins, so if you would like to check in to this fantastic net, I should say, please call in with your name and call sign.
This is K9LZY, Rob, working late and checking in late, so saying hi to all.
This is Whiskey 5, Golf Charlie Hotel, Ron and Driftwood. Busy late this evening, just checking in. Get the last call going here.
If anybody else would like to do a regular check-in, please call in with your name and call sign. Well, all right. We are going to go and check with Rod, K9LZY. Rod, what's going on, man? Why are you working so late? Back to you.
You know, the funny thing about ham radio is that generally, you know, especially with Discord, you get a lot of Elmers. You get people to help. Hey, here, let me help. Do this, you know, trim that. And here's your dipole, you know, length that you need to. At work, it's like, hey, I need some help here. Friggin' crickets. And then you get the whole thing about, oh, well, just try this. And it's very, very different. So, yeah, that's why I'm working late. Knuckleheads didn't give me the right information and causing me to go ahead and do a lot of research on my own. And but yeah, chatting on Discord at the same time, and Rusty told me check in. So pause for reset. So yeah, just end the night here and just saying hi. Back to net.
Right on, man. Well, we need to wake those people up on Discord. Usually take a day or two before you get answers, but you know, it's still a good place because, you know, where else will you find so many people with so many years of experience to help out? So it's even though sometimes the answers come in a little bit slowly, it's still a good place to go. Rod, I have a question for you. What 5 items would you take to a deserted island? Back to you.
That's pretty straightforward. You know, a couple solar panels, some lithium cells, my radio, and fishing pole, and then something to start a fire with so I can cook what I eat. Back to net.
Right on. You're gonna have to drop one of those because you went to 6, but well, awesome, man. I'll give you guys, when I'm done with the net, my choices for that. We got Rod here on the net, K9LZY. If you want to say hi to him, please call in with your name and call sign.
NAG.
Go ahead, Randy.
Hey, Ron, was that K9? Is there some significance there?
Yeah, vanity call. My dad hated his call sign, and he asked me if I wanted it, and I said no. And he said, well, what are you going to get? And I said, something catchy. And so K9, lazy dog, just something not due to location, but just K9 dog, lazy dog. Back to you.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, that's Kilo 9 Lima Delta?
No, sorry about that. Kilo 9 Lima Zulu Yankee. Lima Zulu Yankee. Lazy.
QSL, which means, yeah, I understand. Yeah, I didn't hear it correctly. Yeah, lazy, that's cool too, but, yeah, kind of like that lazy dog too. That might be a cool sign to go find.
I'm generally working in the day FT8 and remote desktop and in my office, so yeah, you'll see me, maybe not if you're, local here, but yeah, you might see me there FT8.
Yeah, well, I'm not a digital guy. I'm a mechanical engineer, mechanical metals, all kinds of stuff kind of guy, with a huge interest in radio, which is why I have, my tech in general. But I don't know, getting into the digital, it's like kind of too tangential, far away from my reality as it is.
Yeah, the FT8 mainly is so I can, get contacts going while I'm working because I can't really seek you while I'm in meetings, but I can definitely watch the grid and say, oh, there's one in Chile. Let me see if I can ping that guy and or that person and do that. So it's more out of convenience than anything else.
Yeah, I totally get it, and I know a lot of people that do it, but, I mean, you're kind of just like cheating at work, but that's cool. Do you have a tech license or a general license?
Tech right now, and trying to exercise the full capabilities, so I've got a 6-meter dipole that I'm going to get up Saturday even higher, and then working 10-meter. I've got an ICOM 7300, and now a D578 for digital. So yeah, I'm trying to work the full spectrum of the tech license, and then studying to get my general though.
Yeah, right. Very cool. Very cool. Like, use everything you have to your advantage. And, if you want a general license, get one, whatever. But, it's something I always wanted since I was, about 12 years old. So, and I didn't get my license till, I'm 67, so I got it about 3 years ago. But, yeah, man, whatever works. Very cool. I'm going to turn it back to you, and you should probably turn it back to Ernesto. KC3 NAG, back to you, man.
Roger, that, Kilo 9 Lima Zulu Yankee, back to net.
All right, well, thank you, Randy, for the comment. We have Rod here, K9LZY. If you have any questions for him, or you want to say hi to him, please call in with your name and call sign.
W0PCO.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Hey, just wanted to say that if Rusty was still awake, President WZ5BDS, he would say that when you're looking to get your general license, they're starting to do the testing at the club meetings so that might be a good place to test once you've studied for your general. W0TCO back to net.
You got that, Rob?
Roger. Yeah, that actually is the plan, and so I'm going to delay my testing until the April time frame so I can do it via the club versus via Zoom and whoever else. Back to net.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew, for that comment. And awesome, Rod. Do you have anything else for the net before I let you go?
No, sir. K9, Lima Zulu Yankee, back to net.
All right, Rod. Appreciate you checking into tonight's net. Always a pleasure talking to you, and we'll be talking to you soon. All right, let's go to Driftwood now and talk to Ron, W5GCH. Ron, what's going on, man? How is the week treating you?
Good evening, Ernesto, and everybody out there. And week has been going pretty well. I had nice warm days to work out in the yard here, and I'm coming to you on a brand new Yaesu FTM 300. It's pretty neat radio. It's like having two radios in one. You can listen to both A and B at the same time. Plus, it has a lot of interesting features to it. Kind of fun, but anyway, let me know how I'm getting through there, and hopefully it's pretty clear. W5GCH, back to net control.
Yeah, man, it sounded just perfect here. I have the same radio in my truck. I used to have it here in my shack and then moved it to the truck. I really like it. It's a really good radio. It has tons of things that I don't use, but it's really nice, and I also like that you could listen to both of them at the same time. And yeah, it's a cool radio. I know Rusty's got that one on a Go Box too. It's I have no complaints. Easy to use, easy to set up a repeater. You can do it in no time. I really like the radio. Mine already got quite a bit of mileage and dust, but it's a neat radio. I have a question for you, Ron. Ron, deserted island, what 5 items would you take with you? Back to you.
Well, if it's truly a deserted island, I'd probably take 5 beers, and as soon as I'm finished with them, I'd want to head back to the boat. So that's about my quickest response to that question. So I've been to a deserted island before, and it's pretty and all, but don't want to spend any time there. So anyway, that's about all I have. Back to net control, W5GCH.
Oh, right on, man. Funny, you don't want to spend any time there. And Bill said that he didn't want to leave there. The place. So we got both sides of the spectrum here on the net. I love it. It's we get all kinds of flavors here. Well, all right. Well, do you have? Actually, no. Let me open the floor here. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Ronnie? So please call in with your name and call sign.
BBS.
Go ahead, Rusty.
Hey Ron, I've got that same radio, and the only thing, like, I like everything about it, but the one thing that I have noticed is that if I have it like one side on the 320 and the other side on the 775 or whatever, anything else that's the same, I've noticed that I cannot turn the volume all the way down. Like, it gets super low, but I can always seem to hear it underneath. Is that the case on yours as well, or can you listen to 2 repeaters that are simulcasting via All-Star and only hear one audio?
Well, Rusty, I haven't had any problem turning the volume down on either one of them to where I don't hear anything. The problem with listening to the 320 and the 777 is there's some delay between the two, and that wouldn't sound too good if you're trying to listen to both of them at the same time. So that's the only comment that I could give there. I would just turn one of them off and listen to one. W5GCH.
Yeah, no, I do. I only listen to one at a time, but I've noticed that if I am on two repeaters that are, even with the delay, when I turn it all the way down and just listening to one, I can still kind of hear the audio coming out. So I didn't know if maybe that was a feature of mine. Same thing for you, Ernesto. Have you ever tried that and had that issue? I might be the only one that has that.
Well, I think, Rusty, it's because you bought yours at La Pulga there in 290, and that just comes all wacky like that. No, man, I have the exact same issue. If both of the VFO, the radios are active, both of the repeaters, and I turn one of them down, and you can still hear it. It's a very it's not very loud. You can barely hear it, but yeah, I can still hear it out there.
Yeah, no, it's not audible. The only reason I know what it is because I hear it full blast on whatever VFO I'm on. But okay, well, nice to know. I didn't know if that was a feature or a bug. I had mine for about 2 weeks, and then I had to send it to Yaesu, so I didn't know if maybe that was just some internal component fun that I had from sending it back or not. But anyway, good to know. Good to hear you on the net, Ron. Back to net control.
Okay, I'll have to set mine up for both repeaters and see if I have the same issue. I haven't tried that yet. W5 GCH.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, it's like a little whisper you can barely hear. I kind of like it because if I'm listening to one and then I hear that little whisper, I look down and see what's going on the other repeater. But I don't have an issue with having that. I kind of, like I said, I kind of like it. We have Ron here on the net. If you want to say hi to him, or if you have any questions for him, please call in with your name and call sign.
K5BZI.
Go ahead, Uncle Ray.
Yeah, I was just wondering if I could take my 5 things and join Rob with his 5 things on the same island. Is that fair?
Man, you just want to party all the time.
Yeah, and?
Oh man, that's fun. Oh, thank you for calling in and commenting. We have Ron here. If you want to say hi to him, or if you have any questions, please call in with your name and call sign. All right, well, Ron, do you have anything else for the net before I let you go?
No, I don't. Thanks for checking back, Ernesto. It's good talking to you and everybody out there, and we'll catch you a little later. W5 GCH.
Awesome, Ron. Thanks again for checking into tonight's net. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and we will be talking to you hopefully in the next few days. All right, well, you are listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net. Brought to you by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, call sign N5OAK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. And my name is Ernesto, KI5PZN. That's Papa Zulu November. And I'm your net controller for tonight's net. Looking for check-ins. If you would like to check into tonight's net, please call in with your name and call sign. All right. Nothing heard, so it looks like it's time to wrap up the net. But before I put a bow on it, let me read you a list of the local nets so you can stay radioactive throughout the week. And we get started on Mondays with the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club 6-meter Monday, hosted by Rick, AI5A, and that's on the 50.125 megahertz at 8 p.m. That's 50.125 on 8 p.m. on Mondays, and 6 meters is opening up, so make sure that you could check in too. So you can build a dipole. If you have an HF with 6 meter, you can build a little dipole and hop in on Monday nights and have fun on 6 meter. On Tuesdays, we have the Oak Hill Southside Simplex hosted by Ray, K5BZI. That's on the 146.555 megahertz at 8 p.m. It's easy to remember, 146.555. You look at those 5 as S's, so Southside Simplex. All right. On Wednesday, we have the UT Amateur Radio Club Wednesday Net, hosted by Matthew, KN4LRA on the University Link Repeater System and the N5 OAK Repeater System. That's at 8 p.m. on Wednesday. On Thursdays, we have the Oak Hill CW Net, hosted by Pat, W5WTH, and that's on the 3.532 megahertz frequency at 7:30 p.m. And again, you don't have to be a CW expert to jump in. They're very patient with everybody, including myself. So it's a really good place to go and get started if you are practicing CW. Again, that's at Thursdays right before this one. That's at 7:30 on the 3.532 megahertz frequency. Also on Thursdays at 8 p.m., this one, the Oak Hill Thursday Night Net, hosted by a different operator every week. That's on the N5 OAK Repeater System and the University Link Repeater System, and that's at 8 p.m. is when we start. Friday, that's tomorrow, the Oak Hill Friday Night Trivia Net, hosted by Rusty, WZ5BBS, that's on the N5 OAK Repeater System, and the University Link Repeater System. That one is at 9 p.m. That's the only one that starts at 9 p.m. And remember, no software to download or accounts to create. All you need is your smartphone, tablet, or computer to play. It's a fun one to get into. That's on Fridays again at 9 p.m. On Saturdays, we have the Austin Amateur Radio Club Elmer's Net, that's hosted by Jeff, and 5MNW, that's on the 146.940 megahertz repeater at 7 p.m. At 9 p.m., we have on Saturdays, too, the 220 megahertz guys original preservation net, that's hosted by Steve, KV9DSQ. And that's on the 224.100 megahertz repeater at 9 p.m. That's the 220 machine. And let me let it reset. If you don't have a 220 radio and you still want to tune in to that net on Saturdays at 9 p.m., you can go to Echolink to WM9W-R, that's Whiskey Mike Niner Whiskey-Romeo. And that way you can get in and participate on the 220 net at 9 p.m. on Saturday. That's a fun net. On Sundays, the Austin Amateur 10-meter weekly net. That's on the 28.410 megahertz at 3 p.m. That's 28.410 at 3 p.m. on Sundays. On Sundays also at 7 p.m., the Travis County Aries weekly net. That's on the 147.360 megahertz repeater, again at 7 p.m. At 7:30 on Sundays, the Weekend Wind Down Net, hosted by me, Ernesto, KI5PZN, and that's on the University Link Repeater System and the N5 OAK Repeater System at 7:30 on Sunday night. On Sundays, also at 9 p.m., right after the Weekend Wind Down Net, the Austin Amateur Radio Club Swap Net, that's hosted by Jeff, N5MNW, that's on the 146.940 megahertz repeater at 9 p.m. And don't forget to go to the n5oak.org website to check the calendar for the DMR machine. We have nets every night on the DMR machine, so go to the n5oak.org and look for those. There's plenty of activity on the repeaters. Alright, well, don't forget to stay radioactive, and again, don't forget to play on the Friday night Trivia Net. That's tomorrow night at 9 p.m. with Rusty, WZ5BBS. And if you want more information about that one, go to n5oak.org and click on the Trivia Net tab. It's a really fun net to participate in. Alright, well, let's get a count on tonight's check-ins, and we had, how many check-ins? We have 18 check-ins tonight. Wow, that's quite a bit. And I would like to thank each of you guys for checking into tonight's net. And let me reset for a second. And that was Matt, Ken, Dave, Lou, Pat, Andrew, Micah, Sky, Ray, Mike, Rusty, Steven, Rick, Brandon, Bill, Randy, Rod, Ron, and yours truly. We have, I guess, 19 including me. That's pretty cool. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. And I got lost here. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. I guess I need some food, coffee, and some sleep. The Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net. It's Narrowcast, courtesy of the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, cosine N5OAK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. We are a non-profit based in Austin, Texas. For more information, please visit n5oak.org, where you can read about the club, sign up for our email list, or donate to support the continued growth of amateur radio. Don't forget to join us on our Discord group, where we stay in touch when we're not on the radio. It's a great place to go and ask for questions. We'd also like to thank Kyle, KA5D, for linking the University Link Repeater System for this net. I'm Ernesto, KI5PZN, and from my QTH here in Austin, Texas, 73, and thanks again for hanging out with us tonight. I will see you guys on Sunday night at 7:30, right here for the Weekend Wind Down Net. This system is now returned to regular amateur use. Thank you guys, it was a fun net. KI5PZN, and I'll be clear.
Thanks for running the net, Ernesto. WZ5BBS.
My pleasure, man.
Really nice, Ernesto. KC3, NAG.
Thank you, Randy, and thank you for checking in. It's always fun talking to you, man.